as far as our platform is concerned, I mean, this is the platform of the Republican Party. It's not the platform of Mitt Romney. That all being said, though, these guys are proud pro-life candidates, and we're a proud pro-life party.
All right, that was Reince Priebus. By the way, who names their kid Reince? Anyway, chairman of the RNC. And you heard it himself there, daylight between the party's platform and the candidate's platform. The plank of that platform that was issued was the so-called Human Life Amendment. It's a proposed plank of the party platform that calls for a constitutional amendment that would outlaw abortion, period. Proposed language does not explicitly state exceptions for rape and incest, but if you go through, for example, the voting record of Paul Ryan, he makes it clear he would have no exceptions. In fact, Paul Ryan at one point co-sponsored with then Congressman Aiken language to that exact degree here. So there's not only daylight between the candidates, but daylight between the party platform and that of obviously its standard bearer Mitt Romney, who does believe in certain exceptions like rape and incest. All right, but this brings up a different issue about where Mitt Romney is right now and where the party is. And the whole idea, and I'll start with you, Frank, of the big tent philosophy, the Ronald Reagan precept that you didn't have to agree with everything, but you certainly didn't want to have a circular firing squad. We saw an ugly primary right now. He's already got this issue where people don't know who he really is, Mitt Romney, from when he was in Massachusetts to now. Is he going to have a problem this week saying, well, I'm with you, but I'm not with you there, or I am kind of coming along your way? How does he define himself?
Well, I think that there would have been a much easier time for Romney differentiating his own platform from the party's platform, but for the whole Todd Akin issue. This Todd Akin issue has put abortion front and center on the political discourse when it wouldn't have been previously. So to have to even be in a position to defend when you have gas prices at $4 a gallon and unemployment almost at 10%.
For perversely, I'm sorry to interrupt. Yeah. Did it almost help Romney that he was able to get so far in front after what that lunatic said that there was no, well, he's a good man, but he misspoke? I mean, he threw him under the bus, as did everybody.
At the end of the day, though, Mitt Romney's still going to have to go to Ohio, Florida, and all these battleground states and be the nominee of a party that says a 14-year-old girl raped by her uncle shouldn't be able to get an abortion. And most, I think, most moderate voters, not just independents and Democrats, most moderate voters are not going to take kindly to that. Additionally, you have the whole issue of this constitutional amendment to ban gay marriage, which violates every precept of conservatism, and it's in the party platform where it wasn't 12 years ago. You mentioned Ronald Reagan. I think Ronald Reagan might be too liberal for today's Republican Party.
Well, Jeannie, to me, you got a vulnerable president with a crappy economy. And if you look at some of the platform issues that they wanted in here and they put on this docket and who he chose as a running mate, you know his voting record's going to come up here. We talked about Paul Ryan. He voted against the Fair Pay Act, easy for me to say. As we said, voted against abortion even in cases of rape. No exceptions, period, across the board. He slashed funding for prenatal infant nutrition, voted against a bill that was named for Matthew Shepard because he didn't want people, if they were beaten and brutalized because of sexual orientation, to have that called a hate crime. I can go on, but my drift is that's not going to help you with the female vote, and that's not going to help you with independents or moderates when they only want to hear about jobs. Is this a bigger challenge than we really think of it right now with 70, 80 some odd days till November?
It's a huge challenge for the Republican Party, yeah, and a huge challenge for Mitt Romney. He has an enormous problem with women. We've known that. It's, you know, a 30–40% spread depending on which polls you look at. That said,
can he close it, or does it risk getting even bigger?
Yes, he can close it because women have kids at home that are graduating from college and can't get jobs. Women are working and not getting as much money and being laid off just like men are. So there are issues that Mitt Romney can use to attract women. Now, it is an uphill battle for him because he has this enormous spread. But keep in mind, this has been a spread for the Republican Party for a long time. This is not new. This is not a Mitt Romney problem. This is a Republican Party problem. And even with all of that, the polls are very tight. And I have to say, I disagree a little bit about the Todd Akin thing. The Todd Akin issue Mitt Romney distanced himself immediately. It gave him the ability to do that. It is not on front and center of voters' minds. You talk to voters. They are not talking about Todd Akin. That's us.
In Missouri,
they are talking.
Which is
well, in Missouri, but how often do you talk to people in Missouri that are voting Democratic?
But it could. They keep talking about it. The Republicans do because they want him off that ballot, and they can't let this issue go away.
Of course, they want him off the ballot. But that said, you have to think about where the Republican Party versus Mitt Romney is. The Democrats cannot paint Mitt Romney as a conservative Republican because he's not. It is a losing battle. They've tried to make this case. He is the former governor of Massachusetts. I lived there when he was governor. He is a moderate guy.
Jeannie, the governor that you had in Massachusetts at the time and the candidate now for president, even by Mitt Romney's own estimation, are two completely different people. Change his position on abortion, change his position on gay marriage, change his position on gun control, I can keep going. You get my drift. On Romney Care, the biggest one of all. I know what you're saying. Listen, I know I'm killing you, my poor producer here. I'm over time, but I want to play a clip from this morning for you, Dominic. And this was on Morning Joe, and this was an exchange between Chris Matthews, who sat in, and the Republican chairman. Take a listen and tell me what this tells us going forward.
That cheap shot about I don't have a problem with my birth certificate was awful. It is an embarrassment to your party to play that card. This stuff about getting rid of the work requirement for health for welfare is dishonest. Everyone's pointed out it's dishonest, and you are playing that little ethnic card there. And you can play your games and giggle about it. Well, but the fact is, your side is playing that card. Okay, well, when you start talking about work requirements, you know what game you're playing, and everybody knows what game you're playing. It's a race card. And this thing about a birth, if your name's Romney, you were well born, you went to prep school, brag about it. And this guy has an African name, and he's got to live with it. Look who's going further in their life. Just a minute. Who was born on third base?
Well, you got your monologue in, so congratulations. You're loaded up. You got it out.
Well, you from the beginning this morning began with the negativity on Obama.
The fact of the matter is that he's from Michigan. He was born in Michigan. Yeah. He's making the point that I was born in Michigan. And you know what? We've gotten to a place in politics that any moment of levity is totally frowned upon by guys like you.
It just seems funny that the first joke he's ever told in his life was about Obama's birth certificate.
Dom, people have been talking about that clip here as maybe a harbinger of where this thing's going. You buy that?
What I buy is, one, it was not a joke. I don't know who thought it was a joke to begin with. The crowd may have laughed, but I didn't really see Mr. Romney laugh when he made that comment. What it was an effective, please notice what I said, an effective smokescreen. Romney was being killed at the time last week with abortion, with Akin, and it was an effective way to turn the tide on the conversation. And it is, to a degree, playing the race card, to a degree.
But Romney himself has been attacked and accused of killing a woman. He's been attacked of not paying his taxes. What about those? Are those not equally problematic?
But, wait a minute.
He was accused of murder.
By the president?
By the PAC that is supported by the president's people. He was accused of murder. You know that. Look at that. Look at the commercial.
Do you know that one?
He was accused indirectly by the commercial.
What happened was by the commercial from the super PAC. A super PAC put out an ad with a fellow who was laid off by a company that Romney had, and they lost health insurance, and this woman died.
Okay. All right. We're going to take a quick break on that uplifting note. When we come back, Ann Romney, everybody agrees on this. She's an asset to the campaign. But can she do what is very tough, and that's making her husband seem more human? We're going to get into her job. That's tomorrow night when we come back.